Tommy was drawn to punk rock music in a later stage in life after being very metal. As far as the concept of the Morbid Days album per se, I don't really know. But I do know that the concept of a heavy rock punk band was something that had spawned off of an idea project with Kenny called the Dead House, or just Dead House. And when that didn't work out, Tommy sort of branched off, so it was a spin-off of Dead House, as far as I'm to know.
Dead House was Type O Negative had just formed. It was like 1989, and Dead House was formed from, it was like this whole post-punk, you know, Metallica mentioned the Misfits, and then all of us discovered the Misfits. So we suddenly became these insta-punks from 1989.
Music was something that we latched onto. Anything that we could get our hands on, anything that sounded cool. I remember going to a music store on Quentin Road, Mr. Frank's. Any albums that had a cool cover, didn't make a difference what it was because we didn't know. We would bring it home, whether it be Alice Cooper or some country band, Johnny Winter. It didn't make a difference. Anything. I remember a story going through my aunt's glove box, 8 tracks. We came across Jimi Hendrix because we had found a Jimi Hendrix album. So we were very... Jimi Hendrix experience was a thing, a music experience that completely possessed us. And so we went through my aunt's glove box and we found Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies. And so we thought, well, Jimi Hendrix, you know, it's got to be good. And we heard the Band of Gypsies with a different lineup, and we were completely possessed by that. So from Jimi Hendrix, T-Rex, Rush, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Saxon, it didn't make a difference. And as far as Tommy, there were no rules and regulations. He loved any type of music as long as it touched him in some type of way. Gwen Stefani, I mean, if you looked at his CD collection, he could have been a DJ because it was from Mozart, you know, to Cypress Hill. It didn't make a difference. So as far as influences, the sky was the limit. It didn't make a difference.
But she loved him. I don't know what clicked it off between me and Sean, but I went home with him one day after school, and that's how I met Tommy. I remember. We were being in a room that had bunk beds. There was stickers and holes in the walls and all this crazy shit everywhere. And like the deepest into rock and roll I was Elton John at the time, you know. Everything else was like way too over the top for me. And I remember Tommy, he had a Black Sabbath record in his hand, and he went, "This album's great!" And he busted it against the side of the bunk bed. He went, "This album's great!" And Sean was yelling at him. You know, these guys are nuts, man. And then and we were hanging out in the bed. The next day I went back to the house the next day after school. And they mentioned Kiss. And I was like, oh man, those guys terrible, man. They like throw up on stage and all this stuff. I hate Kiss. And then sometime into the day, Sean was like, so what's your favorite rock song? I said, I know, there's this new song on the radio called Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day, because that's Kiss, you idiot! And that's how I got into Kiss. They got me into Kiss. They got me into everything. They got me into Kiss, they got me into Queen, they got me into Black Sabbath. I mean, Tommy and Sean turned me on to rock and roll. Wow. And heavy metal.
One of my fondest memories is probably being at Grandma Mary's house and him like sitting on the floor and playing his guitar, and I just like sit there and like climb all over him because he was like this like mountain to me that I could just climb all over, and him picking me up in the air and serenading me with Christmas music. It's definitely.
How'd you guys get along as kids?
We hate each other. I mean, friggin' rip-roaring brawls, punch in the face, friggin', you know, smothering me. I had a knife, I think, at one time. We hated each other. But, when the only time we really got along, not the only time we got along, but music was the connection. We were brothers you know, biologically, spiritually, but when it came to music, we had nothing else. We taught ourselves how to play the instruments that we play. He's self-taught guitar player, I'm a self-taught drummer, and we connected musically, and that was the bond that we had. It didn't make a difference, but we were brothers, but we were musicians, and that's how we connected, without a doubt.
No, this band rose from the ashes of Smash Alley. Tommy came to, what, the last gig?
Yeah, he came to Alphabet City.
Yeah.
It was at the bank.
It was at the bank, and
Avenue A.
Yeah, we were pretty much done. We were just like,
yeah, we've had our fill of the hairspray and the macaws and all of that stuff.
yeah, man.
He just put it on the table. And,
yeah, I remember that. He was like, all right, you guys done fooling around? Because I got something that maybe you'll be interested. I think it's...
And that's how The Strange was born. And it was quite a departure from the previous band. We were all playing, you know, radio, hair metal, rock and roll kind of stuff, and it was like a breath of fresh air because we got to go back to old school playing. We got to go back to you know, guitar straight into the amps, nothing processed, nothing effects. It was raw. We had to really bring our A game to the table because there was nothing to hide behind. So it was a challenge, but at the same time it was a lot of fun.
It was outrageous. It was different. It wasn't, you know, I was used to, you know, 80s hair metal, you know, just like rocking it out, you know, and The Strange was something totally different. It was like, you know, it was old school meets something. It met Tommy. It was weird. It was like he had his own style of writing, and the music was definitely different, and I really was hooked by it as soon as I heard it.
I was basically a roadie. I was carrying gear, humping guitars, help setting up the drums, doing whatever I can to help the guys out. You know, I just like being around music from that standpoint. I was never really a musician per se, but I always got involved with the back end of things, you know, and you know, if I can help get a good guitar sound, I'll help set up the drums or whatever I can do to help the guys out, because they had a lot on their plate. Every band does, so they can always use an extra set of hands. And that's how I basically got involved with the band and came to be known as the Fifth Beatle by Tommy. You know, he always thought I was like not somebody up on the front lines, but somebody who really helped out and helped the band become who they were.
Right here we are The Strange. This next one's called Celebration of the Dead. This next one's called Morbid Days, and it's the title of our self-entitled EP, The Strange, Morbid Days, and something like this. Yeah. not going to do this in the set, but how the hell would you know anyway? This song's called Lady Strange. It's dedicated to Amy. Did you think you could break my heart? Just stay and walk away. Every price to pay. All that time I thought I knew. You never stayed right through the door. You left me alone. Ooh, Lady Strange.
We are on beautiful route. What is this interstate? This is interstate 87.
You got a lot of what?
North. We're cruising at 60 miles an hour. And we're going to get back to you guys as soon as we get to the site.
Sleeper, I bet down a lot of milk in that.
Sean, say something to the fans at home about this muddy shithole.
Well, here we are now after that beautiful weather. It's pouring. What? Peace.
Twice. Tom, anything for the neighbors at the house?
6 days of rain.
3 days of peace, love, and mud.
And mud.
Here at Mudfest 94.
Over to your left,
We have our leaky tent.
we have the tent that has about 6 feet of water in it. Thanks to John Reese and Richie.
And you can't flush the porta sands.
But Sean does have
I have my light
He's got the force.
that I hope to use tonight.
voice.
It's also a built-in bug light.
We've been here 2 hours and it hasn't stopped pouring yet.
And we have grapes that are rotting. Oh,
And we think we've sighted Andrea Cat swimming in a nearby fucking ravine.
Check out those grapes, Sean. Let's get a...
yeah, very.
Beautiful and tender, Dole.
Nature snack.
Dole. We don't fucking bow down to any endorsement. Dole. Delicious snack.
We'll take anything for free.
By the way, it is 10:15 in the morning. We've been here for quite some time, and
Sean, say it, Dole. Nature's candy.
Anybody want a fresh apple?
Nature's candy.
I got fucking red delicious ones.
I got peaches, apples, pears, tasty bananas.
Ah!
There ain't even any big-titted hippie chicks.
Sure there is.
Oh, none!
Just when we think it's about to stop, pow! It comes down again.
we're up to 5 same day. The weather's starting to break just a little bit. People starting to get into it. More people starting to show up. The rain chased a lot of people out. Some really hard people here. Some classic Woodstock vintage footage you're getting here, people. Let's go check out the front.
Good morning, Mr. Lucino.
Go fuck yourself. Cocksuckers up at 5 in the morning. I gotta get up with them.
I had heard guitar playing in the background, like in a field somewhere. I forget. I was on videotaping something else, and I hear this. I hear Creedence Clearwater playing in the distance. Somebody on a guitar, whatever it is, and obviously it's Tommy. So I just turn around and I see Tommy sitting there, and he's playing Bad Mood on the Rise, and he's just strumming along, playing the song. And as I'm walking up with the camera, whatever it is, and the camera's zooming in, he keeps playing them without skipping a beat. He turns around, instead of saying, "There's a bad moon on the rise," he says, "There's 3 bathrooms on your right." And I was like, "What?" And I mean, you could actually see it, you know, if you ever see it, you can see I'm kind of dumbfounded. And I actually turn to my right, and he's telling me like this, there's 3 bathrooms on your right as he's playing the song. And I pan the camera, and lo and behold, there was 3 porta potties sitting there on my right.
I see you, baby, right there. I see you, I see you right there. I see you, well, don't come around tonight, 'cause it's bound to take your life. There's a bedroom on the right. Ready? Yeah, there's a bathroom on your right.
Yes, there is.
There's 3 bathrooms on the right. Yeah.
You're fucking nuts.
Ah! Frank don't care, Frank don't care, Frank don't care. That very much done. Frank don't care, Frank don't care, Frank don't care. Plays in his cut.
Oh shit. Frank don't care, Frank don't care, Frank plays in his cut.
Frank, come on, Frank, Tommy. Solo. Take it.
Take it.
Heavy metal. Have you ever seen rain? I wanna know. Have you ever seen rain?
All day yesterday, Tom.
Rolling down the day yesterday. Yeah. I wanna know. Has the strange ever seen the rain?
All rain in one day.
I wanna know, has the strange ever seen the rain? Coming down all day yesterday.
Believe it or not, that's John. Gonna actually go use one of the restroom facilities. You wouldn't believe the smell.
you know, after losing him and realizing how much he actually meant to me as not only a person, but, you know, you have a connection with people in your lives, and I didn't realize it while he was alive, but I realized it after he had passed, how much he actually meant to me. And after all the memorial masses, which is, you know, that's something that means a lot to my mother, you know, and it means a lot to me and my family. But after all the after memorial masses, diners and things, I want people to understand that, you know, Tommy was more than just somebody who talked about, somebody who was the life of the party at certain things. Tommy lived, breathed music. That was Tommy's existence. If Tommy wasn't anything else, he was a musician. And until these very days, putting this together, I never really realized how incredibly a musician he actually was, trying to dissect and get back the feeling that was there, that came easy at the time as a younger person, and now being an older person and getting the boys back and listening and trying to get those nuances, that he was an incredible talent, and it's a shame that the world never got to experience this much of his talent. So I felt enough with the diners and enough with the house get-togethers and enough with the standing around. I felt that it was time that whoever is interested in coming got a little glimpse into the talent and the genius of my brother that I was actually fortunate enough to play music with, and anybody else that spent some time with us.
Well, I think when Fabry and Sean started and Frankie started thinking about doing this, I think a couple of times Sean wanted to just get together and play some music, just to get his chops back or whatever. And one night I think Frankie couldn't make it or something, and they just asked me to come and jam on stuff. We played a whole bunch of songs. And then it led to, at some point, Fabry just called me kind of out of the blue and just said, "We'd like you to come and play with us."
How'd you feel when you were asked to perform at the tribute?
How did I feel? I didn't feel anything. I just said yes immediately. You know, I just went into it blindly, not knowing how much of a great decision it was for him, for Sean, like to have it done and you know, to get it going. It's been a very tumultuous experience. You know, it's like a second morning, but like also it's sweet. Just listening to him and getting into his mindset and remembering.